What up? This is Rosecrans Vic, and you're now listening to the Ambiance podcast.
What's good, people? Welcome to Ambiance podcast. I got a legend sitting across from me right here, Rosecrans Vic. How you living, brother?
That's so nice. A legend. Wow.
A legend.
Yeah.
LA, bro. I feel like you're kind of you're leaving a legacy for yourself.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I didn't think about legendary status yet, but shit, I'll take it.
Yeah, well, for me, I think that I just respect what you do a little bit more. You know what I mean? Because I'm on this whole media side of things.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like seeing somebody like you. I talked about this off camera.
Yeah.
Doing this is really inspiring for me, and I'm sure a lot of other people that are doing this, especially in the LA area.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, man. So first off, what's good? How you living?
I'm good. It's shit, we're recording on a Saturday morning. Lakers lost. Pretty bummed about that.
I'm hurting too.
Yeah, but it's good. We blessed. You know what I mean? I woke up in my new crib. Felt amazing. I was like confused. I was like, oh shit, I forgot I live here. Like, you know, and then I didn't have shit to do really, like, besides this. So I was just like, damn, I don't even have nothing to do. I could just kick it on the couch and like, it was a great feeling. Yeah,
you get to actually like enjoy your rent.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly. I'm just like, this is great. Like, I love this shit.
When did you get this new spot?
I just moved in this week, so I got it on the 1st, and it took me like, I don't know, a few days to just get all my shit. You know what I mean? And just move it in there. So I've been like officially moved in since I think Wednesday.
Okay. You got that new crib glow, kind of.
Oh yeah, of course. Everything's so clean. Like, wake up. Like, I don't want to buy no more furniture, even though I need to buy a little bit more. But I'm just like, there's so much fucking open space. I love it. Like,
yeah. It's like a little minimalistic type of vibe.
Yeah, exactly.
But man, I'm hurting too from that Lakers loss the other night, bro. Like,
goddamn.
I was really banking on that win. But we got the fucking Laker vibes in here with the lights.
Yeah,
you know
fuck
what
Marquise
I mean?
Morris. Yeah.
Fuck Marquise. You had to throw that in.
And his
Sean
brother.
Green, we gotta do better, man.
And Danny Green, yeah.
And Danny Green.
How many more are you gonna miss? Yeah.
Yeah, how many more are you gonna miss? There's so many. That man's going crazy on Twitter right now. Everybody's memeing his ass.
Bro, trash.
Yeah.
I had a feeling too. I'm like, fucking Danny Green's gonna fuck it up.
Yeah, and I think the announcer predicted that play. He's just like, they're gonna double LeBron. LeBron's gonna pass it to Green, and they subbed. Who'd they sub? They subbed somebody for Green.
Yeah.
And
they should have gave it to KCP. He's been clutch.
He was draining them all game, bro.
Yeah, he would have hit it for sure. Or Rondo. I feel like Rondo wouldn't have missed that shit.
Yeah.
You know?
With veteran status,
Exactly.
I would have for sure fed Rondo.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, we'll try to get this win on Sunday. But you are such like I mentioned, a respected figure in the LA hip hop scene. How did you get that reputation for yourself?
I never did no like gimmicks. I never did no like any type of funny shit, no weird shit. I never have like incited drama. I've never covered clown shit. So I think I just kept it very like respectable. Like my brand and like what we covered, my website, you know, was very like particular about things I did and didn't do. Because I wanted to gain that respect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the way I'm looking at it is, first of all, anything you do on the internet is forever. We forget that sometimes.
That's true.
You know, you can always go back and see this and see that. So I always kept that in mind. Like, you're writing with, you know, permanent ink when you're on the internet. So I made sure that I never did any, like, goofy shit. Like, I mean, I'll joke around on Twitter or whatever, but, like, you know, when it came to my brand and, like, what we covered in the music, we never, like, posted diss tracks, you know, to like one LA artist to another or anything like that, because I'm like, nah, what if it gets out of hand?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What if our post incites some things? You know, it happens so often, you know what I mean? Like Draco and RJ, you know, it started off some like weird rivalry shit on internet, and, you know, people ended up dying, not directly because of them, but they try to like drag them into it after.
For real?
Yeah, and it's just like, it's weird shit, you know what I mean? Like, the internet is so weird. Like, things can take off, you know, and I just always kept in mind to, you know, keep the brand respectable, and I kept in mind that, like, I'm playing forever, you know? So it's like, I'm not in this for a viral tweet or this or that. I just always wanted to be able to have the opportunity to be mentioned with, like, the Rob Markmans, the Elliot Wilsons, and stuff like that. And if it's like, if you fuck up in the beginning, you know what I mean, all your hard work can go away.
Yeah.
So
have you had this type of mindset from when you first started? Or did you like go into the game knowing that like, this is what I want my brand to be and this is what I'm going to do to get there?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of things I didn't know, but I knew at least kind of like what not to do.
Yeah.
You know, I knew I didn't want to be like an academics and like, you know,
Clickbait shit.
clickbait.
Yeah.
That was never me. You know, I'm just never been that kind of person anyway. So I made sure to carry my brand like that. And it's still like that to this day. Like, you know, there's certain things, like I have like a social media guy, like shout out to Manny, he's great. But there'll be certain times I have to like take down posts because I'm like, it just doesn't fit our brand, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and it just certain things, you know, it's just like that's not us. You know, we're not in the business of like, you know, just making all these like memes and like doing shit like that. Like we're a LA based publication, you know, that covers hip hop, and like that's how I want to keep it.
Yeah, I think that's important these days too, because everybody's looking for that viral moment, you know what I mean, to plateau them into becoming a star for some shit, you know what I mean? So
I don't want it that fast. I never would have wanted it that fast because it's like you don't even know what to do with it once you get it if you didn't take those bumps along the road.
Yeah. And I think that artists and like anybody in the industry can respect that too, you know what I mean? Because everybody talks about how fake the music industry is. They talk about like, I don't know, it just has a bad rap. So I think that people in it can feel it, you know what I mean? They can feel the real coming from you, and I think that's probably a big reason as to why you're like so respected.
Yeah, definitely.
Why do people say that? First off, why do people say like the music industry is so fake? Like, what is it?
Because people in the music industry are very like fair weather type of people. Everybody wants to be, you know, close to what's hot. Everybody wants to like crowd around the campfire. When you're cold, people will like not text you back as fast. People will, you know, lag. People will do this. People do that. And the more heat you have behind your name, or like the more leverage you have, people are more likely to do shit. So
yeah,
you know, with everything, there's ups and downs. On the downs, like you really feel it. Like people are not gonna fuck with you if they really don't fuck with you.
Yeah, you see who's really in your corner, right?
Exactly.
For sure. So you also have a good reputation of like finding artists in LA or West Coast artists before they really like blow up, you know what I mean? So what's your like method behind that? How are you finding these artists?
Man, it's kind of hard to like explain the method because I feel like it's not always the same thing. I kind of just, a lot of times I feel like they like fall into my lap in a way because I'm paying such close attention, but also people around me know that I'm always looking for like new LA talent to cover and to post and like make moves with. So a lot of them will send me, oh, you know, you fuck with this, and I have my ears open. I'll pay attention. Like I don't really close myself off to being like, nah, like this is whack. There's a lot of artists that I fuck with that I co-signed early that I heard maybe a month or two before, and I did not like them at all. I didn't like their music. Like I didn't, you know, like Blueface, right? Blueface came out, and I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, what? Like I was cool with One Take J, and I had like started promoting his shit and booking him for shows, and I was like, nah, he sounds like One Take J. Like he's trying to like bite One Take J in my mind the whole time, right?
Yeah.
But then I hear, and I had heard Deadlokes, and then I heard Tatiana, and I was like, oh no, this shit is so hard. Like I don't give a fuck. Oh no, actually, you know what changed my mind is that they did a song together.
Oh, okay.
And that's what made it okay, like made me feel like it was okay to like start covering him and like posting him and shit like that, because I was like, oh, I mean, if they fuck with each other, then it's not an issue. Because there's a like a thing in LA where like once one sound gets popular, once one LA artist gets popular, like a lot of people start making music like them. Or you see a bunch of clones.
You see that like in a lot of other areas like Atlanta, Atlanta rappers too.
Yeah, so you start seeing a lot of clones, and I've tried to stay away from like covering the clones and just cover the real ones, you know? Eventually the clones like become their own artist, you know what I mean? If they're consistent enough and like stay with it. Everybody starts off sounding like somebody else.
Yeah.
You know, you could even apply that like podcasters, like, you know, you kind of are what you intake, and eventually you kind of like carve out your own shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's been a lot of times, like even Draco, like the first time I heard him, I was like, why is he mumbling? Like, I don't understand this shit. But something told me like, I don't know, but you should post it. Like I had like some weird thing in my head, like you might not fuck with it, but like you should post this. And that was probably like 2014 or 2015. I was probably one of the first people to write about him.
Yeah.
You know? And so things like that kind of always happen, you know, where something tells me like, you should probably post this first before anybody else does. And you should like reach out to them and stuff like that. And it's just kind of happened over and over again. Like, Blue Bucks Clan, like, for example, they're like super hot right now. My homegirl Christy, she tried to put me onto them in like March. Was it like June, right?
When did they start like really popping?
They started popping in like December
of last year.
Yeah,
Okay.
like December, January this year, like around there. And she kept telling me like, hey, like, you need to fuck with them. And then I'm like, I don't know. They kind of, I don't know if they don't really have their own sound yet. You know what I mean? But I was just like, that's cool. But they were just starting out. You feel me? Like, this was early. And I did like one song from them. I think it was called LAX. And I was just like, okay, this is cool. And she was like, hey, like, you should have them on the podcast. And then I was like, all right, Christy. Like, she's like one of my best friends. So I was just like, all right.
Respect her.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, okay, I'll listen to you, So I brought them on the podcast. It was cool. They were mad cool. After that, started keeping a closer eye on them. Started listening to their music a little more. And then kind of out of nowhere, like, they just got so much better. And, like, their music was just, like, incredible. And they just kept consistent. And then everybody started, like, jumping on their dick around, like, December, January. Everybody's like, oh my God, Blue Bucks Clan. And which is dope. I'm not the type to like turn my back once they get a little popular, like that's super corny. But I was just like, damn, I'm so glad I interviewed them in August. People were probably like, oh yeah, I'm gonna like cover them first or whatever, and then they're probably like, damn it, Vic beat us again. Like, and it's like it keeps happening. And I know like people must be sick of it. Like when I say people, like my haters.
Okay.
But
shout out to the haters.
Yeah, shout out to the haters. But it's just funny, like stuff like that always happens, like people just kind of bring me talent early, and I might not always like it, but I have like a feeling about them, and I'll start to post them, and I'll go out on a limb. A lot of people are afraid to like co-sign anything, to get behind something and be like, oh, this is next, this is dope. They'll like listen, and until people start to say that they're dope, then they'll kind of bring out their opinion and be like, oh yeah, I've been listening to them forever. It's like, well, why don't you say that? I'm not afraid to stick my chest out.
No one wants to be wrong about something.
Yeah, I'm not afraid to be wrong. I haven't really been too wrong that many times, honestly.
But but vice versa, have you been wrong at times about certain artists? You know what I mean?
Let me think. I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm probably just one of those people that is like, I only remember my wins.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So like,
I fuck with that.
Yeah, like, I mean, losses are losses, but like I don't really dwell on them. You know what I mean? Or, like, I wouldn't say like betting on artists that doesn't make it is a loss, because it's one, it's not too late, and two, just kind of something out of my control. But I just always have this special feeling, and I'm just like, you know what? I think they're dope. I'm gonna say it with my chest.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start telling people about them. I'm gonna start hitting up the label homies. I'm gonna start hitting up other media people and be like, yo, you fuck with this? You heard this? And then, obviously it's like, oh shit, this is hard. Or they'll double back a while ago, like, hey, didn't you tell me something about, this artist? And I'm like, yeah, I did, and you didn't listen.
And now they popping.
Yeah. That's
cool. That means like, obviously you have a great ear for what's popping in LA. And also I think that you've been at this since, like you said, since 2014. So you've built this reputation where now people rely on you to get your input about certain artists. So now it's like work that you were doing in 2014 and 15 is paying off in like 2019 and 20. And I think that's like a big part that a lot of people don't understand. It's just like, you may not see the blessings from something that you're doing at that present time, but 4 or 5 years, like, it's going to come back to you tenfold, right?
For sure. I feel like that happens so much because everything is a process, and I'm super patient. That's the thing. I feel like a lot of people aren't patient, and that's why they quit and get sick, and they don't see results fast enough.
Yeah.
I feel like everything is a journey, so I just embrace it. There's not too much that I don't like. I heard, I forgot who I was listening to yesterday, but they were talking about how, life is just a journey. Like, it's something that Nip told him, and he was just like, it's just a journey. Like, there's no destination. And then I was just like, wow, like, I never really, like, it's obvious, right? But I never really thought of it like that. And it's so true, like, we're just on a journey. There's really no end goal. There's no destination.
Everybody
There's like
dies.
Yeah, and it's just like you can have all these achievements and stuff, but like you're always gonna just go to the next thing and the next thing. Yeah. And there's been plenty of times where, like you said, something I did in 2014, 2015, 2017 is like just coming to fruition now. for example, the No Jumper show, you know, I mean, we can get into that later, but, you know, I met Adam in 2017, you know, interviewing him for my podcast. And, you know, 3 years later, obviously it's like he reached out and was just like, hey, you know, we should do this. And
that's dope.
Yeah.
And you never know, something you do now might pay off in 2025. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I hope so. Yeah.
That's
I need them residuals.
That's mad inspiring, man. But speaking on journey, I kind of want you to touch on that a little bit more, like on your personal journey. I want to dig into that. So where did you grow up in? Obviously you're from LA.
Yeah.
Born and raised. So like, what part of LA are you from?
So I was born in Inglewood, City of Champs.
Okay.
And I lived around there. I lived in Lenox, which is a really small city, like right by LAX. It's like, I don't know, like probably 99% Mexicans. it's like little Mexico there.
Yeah, I know. I'm familiar with it.
Oh, okay, yeah. And everybody on the block, you know, that I grew up with is like still there. Nobody moves. If they move, they just move to like another house in Lenox, like up the block. And I grew up there. My grandparents had a house there. My parents, you know, lived in it, and we lived there till like I was like 8 or 9. Went to school there and everything, Moffett Elementary, and then we moved to Bellflower, like North Bellflower. It's like almost Downey, really close to Paramount. It was like a little tri-city area, and that's where I went to school after, like, just Downey School District.
At what age was this?
I was like 9.
9, okay.
Yeah, so it was like the year like 2002, like 2001 or 2, and yeah, so basically, like, you know, moved there, went to school there. Parents got divorced. My mom moved around a lot, but my dad stayed in that house. So I was able to like just have some type of like continuation in my life. You know what I mean? Like going to the same school district, never really changing schools was dope, you know, because I had to, you know, I was able to like build friendships with people. And, you know, it wasn't like, I was never really like the new kid in class or the new kid at school, which is like terrifying. Like if I think about it, like it happened once, but like it's just like I can just feel for kids who always have to move,
like
and
military
shit.
families and shit.
Yeah, you're just like, I'm the new kid again. Time to, you know, build up my rep again. Time to like try to be cool again.
Yeah.
Like fucking school is like hell. But so yeah, so I went there, and then after high school, just kind of like kicked it. I don't know. Like I was going to school and working.
What did you want to be at that time, or like when you were growing up? Did you want to be something else other than what you are now?
I mean, not really. I always loved music. Like I was a huge music fan. Like I used to be on artists super early. Like
so that was like an indication of what you
I had no idea. I was preparing for this my whole life, which is dope. And I just did it as a hobby because I guess my two loves are like music and sports. So in reality, I wanted to do. My dream job was like being a sports center anchor. That was like my shit. Like I wanted to like, I was looking into like going to broadcasting school in Connecticut so I can like, you know, work at Bristol at ESPN and stuff that. It didn't really work out, but that was like my whole thing. And I went to Long Beach City College and was studying journalism, mainly focusing on like sports journalism. And I was just like, I don't know, like I tried it out. Like I tried it out the newspaper. I did like the TV class, and I was learning all these things, but I also wasn't really taking things too seriously. I was going to school. I was working at the bank part-time. I was just like kind of coasting along. Then I had my son at 21.
Okay.
Once I had my son, that's when I started to take life really seriously. And let me see, like a year after he was born. Yeah.
What year was that? Like
2013.
13. Okay.
Yeah. Which was when my son was born. And 2014, October 1st is when I launched RosecransAve. So I was working at the bank and I was just like, yo, like this shit is fucking boring. And then I kind of realized, like with sports, to try to be a journalist, that so many ex-athletes are getting into that space.
Yeah, it's like such a big barrier to entry. You gotta like know somebody.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not fucking Deion Sanders, so like he's gonna get the job over me, obviously. You know?
It doesn't
like,
matter how much you study.
Yeah, like, and once I realized that, I was just like, man, like, cause I didn't play like high school ball, I didn't play college ball. You know, those are things that like people kind of want as an analyst. You know, like, you know, if you want to do this, or you can just go to like a very serious, you know, journalistic school like a Syracuse, and then you kind of get like a road inside. Like you said, it's kind of like who you know.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know anybody in that space, and I was just like, I feel like starting from zero is easier in music. Like, you know, you can just build a community, and eventually, like, you meet somebody, and maybe they could blow up. But it's not like that in sports, you know? So I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna just focus on the music side, which, like I said, I had been preparing for my whole life. Like, I had like a Walkman at like 8 years old, you know, just listening to Eminem on it and like shit like that. And, you know, just my whole life was me being like a music nerd on the low and
preparing yourself unknowingly,
you know what I mean? And like I said, I kind of like just realized that I have a really good ear because I started discovering artists way before people blew up. And I don't even know how. It was always random too. Like, for example, Tyler, the Creator, Odd Future.
Mm-hmm.
So they're from like, you know, the South Bay, like Hawthorne area, right?
Yeah.
My grandparents live there. One of like my dad's closest homies, son, which is like a really good friend of mine, he was skating with them at the time. This was like 2007 maybe.
Shit, okay.
And he was like skating with them, and he was just like, oh yeah, like I just met these new guys, like the homie Tyler, like he's so dope, him and Earl, like they're hilarious, like watch their YouTube videos. And I'm like, this is like when YouTube had just came out. And then I was like, okay, I'm watching their YouTube videos. They had this hilarious like viral video of them breaking a sidekick. I don't know if you remember that. It was like super early YouTube shit. They were breaking a LRG sidekick with a samurai sword. It sounds super like ridiculous, but it was so funny. And I was just watching it like, damn, this guy's hilarious. Then they had other little shit they would do, like go into like, you know, restaurants and just act stupid and record it.
Like Loiter Squad shit before Loiter
exactly.
Squad. Okay.
So they would do shit like that. And I was just like, oh, this is dope. And then he's like, oh, he makes music too. I didn't know he made music. I thought he was like a funny skateboarding kid. And so I started listening to music, and it was weird. I was like, what the fuck is this? You know?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy back then.
It was weird, but and then like I heard Odd Toddlers with him and Casey Veggies, and I'm like, this is hard as fuck. So again, I'm like super early on it. And then, you know, maybe like a few months later, they really start to blow up, like 2008. Like people start really recognizing them. 2009, like they just get like super viral. And I'm like, damn, I wish I would have like, I don't know, like I didn't know what it was, but I was like, I wish I would have like maybe told more people about them or something.
You didn't have an outlet to do it, but
exactly.
You wanted to do it.
Yeah, I was just like, man, that would have been cool. I was like, damn, that's pretty cool. I knew about them before they blew up, like just from me having a connection to like somebody they knew. So whatever, you know, that happened. Also, around, it was like maybe 2009 or 10, my cousin was telling me about his homie in his school, my cousin in Chicago.
Okay.
He was telling me about his homie that he was in like band class with. And he's like, yeah, my homie Chance, blah, 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 goes to school with him. That's Chance the Rapper. You know what I mean? So like he was playing me his music that only people from Chicago would know or like have. Like you can't hear that shit now. What year
was this?
This is like 2009. Okay. I want to say maybe, yeah, like.
Bro, it's funny because this.
No, 2000. No, you know what? It's later than that. 2010 or 11. 10 or 11. Yeah.
Kind of the time before like.
Before Acid Rap.
Acid Rap.
No, before 10 Day.
Oh shit.
Before 10 Day.
Damn, because I had one of his producers, Cam Obi, on my show, and he was telling me like a similar story about him and Chance, like, cause he produced on Acid Rap, and it was crazy to hear like their whole journey, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like how he was such a big influence in the Chicago hip hop scene.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, it started as listen to my homie from band class, he raps, and I'm just like, okay, you know, like.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget it. We were in my truck, and my cousin's just like, yeah, I'm just like, okay, this is pretty hard. Like, you know, I fuck with this. And then, you know, maybe months later, I see he does that video Juice, which is like in New York, him in New York and stuff like that. And then 10 Day comes out, and then obviously he starts to like blow up. And I was just like, hey, like this is like your homie, right? And then he's just like, yeah, I told you, bro, like blah, blah. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Again, you know? And it's just happens to be by like a personal connection that you hear this shit. And that's why I say that it's like all this shit has just kind of been like preparing me like my whole life. And, you know, after like getting stuff like that, and I'm like, imagine if I would have like wrote about them or You know what I mean? Like that early.
Yeah.
And I just, like you said, I didn't have an outlet. So I think things like that just kind of kept happening in my life. And I realized, like, if I have an outlet, I could have said something. I could have done something. I could have done this or done that.
So that's how Rosecrans Ave was birthed, basically.
In a way, yeah. Like, I was doing, the first thing I ever did was a radio show. It's called Rosecrans Radio at Long Beach City. And actually, no, I'm lying. I had a show before that, and it wasn't called Rosecrans Radio. And it was a terrible show. But I was learning, the ropes about, talking on mic and stuff like that. And I felt like I sucked really bad. So I started, like, writing stuff down to, like, talk about, because I would just get froze up on the mic.
Yeah.
So once I started writing stuff down, I'm like, well, why don't I, like, write this and put it online?
Might as well.
Yeah. And then I'm like, oh, I can make a blog. And I was really inspired by Fake Shore Drive.
Okay.
Chicago scene. Again, back to, like, I have, like, Chicago roots because I have, like, so much family over there. It's like 100 relatives, no joke. I go out there every summer.
Shit.
Yeah.
How the fuck that happened?
Because so my great grandma, she was born in Mexico, but then my grandma, who's the oldest, she came out here to California, to LA, to look for a job, and my grandpa was over here working and stuff like that. Then, like Mexican families do, they're like, okay, now the whole family come over here and look for jobs too, right?
Yeah.
Once they had a place. So everybody in my grandma's side of the family, all her brothers and sisters, were all looking for jobs. For a while, nobody could find any jobs. So they heard there was jobs in Chicago. So everybody except my grandma left to Chicago because she had found a job.
Wow.
So all of them went out there, and they all had kids, and like now it's just like they're into like the third generation, and it's just like so many fucking kids. Like,
yeah.
So many, like, and it's super dope. Like, it's just hella, I'm hella close with them. And
was this prior to when you were born, or?
Yeah, this was like the 70s.
Damn, so you could have very well been.
If my grandma didn't find a job, basically, like, I would have probably been a different person in Chicago.
That's fucking crazy. If you to think about shit like that, like, all it took was just your grandma be like, fuck it, I'm gonna go to Chicago too, and you would have had a completely different life.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
That's nuts.
No Rosecrans Ave. But exactly. Yeah, so I was really inspired by Andrew Barber and Fake Shore Drive because they specialized only in Chicago/Midwest shit unapologetically. They're like, everybody could cover whatever the fuck they want. We're only going to stick to this shit. And they covered the rise of, like, Chief Keef, the whole drill scene, Chance the Rapper, the whole Save Money, right?
Save Money.
Yeah, the Save Money crew.
Yeah.
Just Bogus Boys. They just covered all that shit, like, so well. And they became really ingratiated in the scene, and I saw what it did for them and their scene as well. I was like, that's dope that Chief Keef and Chance the Rapper know about each other, and Chance shouts Chief out on, like, songs and stuff. Like, the only way you really know about each other is if there's, like, a centralized platform where everybody can look and kind of see who else is out there.
Yeah.
And I love the idea of that because I feel like it builds unity on the scene.
Yep, 100%. I can relate to that a lot because what I'm doing is kind of similar, but it's in a creative space. Like, I like finding creatives that haven't popped up yet, like photographers, tattoo artists, fucking DJs, whatever that is.
That whole side of it.
Exactly. Yeah. So, like, I love finding the talent that's out there that hasn't popped yet. And then once, like, I'll have him on a show or something, or, like, I help him make a connection, and then, like, a year later I'm seeing him, like, doing gigs for some of these big artists, bro, and it gives you a certain feeling, doesn't it?
Yeah. Like, that's like the greatest feeling, honestly.
Yeah.
Seeing, especially, like, what's happened recently is the people that I've been around and building with for about 3 years now, like, let's say Rucci, let's say Mac and Co., everybody on my team, Callie, Irene, Cypress, so many people. Like, you just start to see their hard work, really pay off.
Yeah.
And you start to see their growth and start to see them get into, like, bigger positions. And, just, it's been like a weird wave of just, like, you starting to see all the homies, like, move out their mom's crib.
Yeah.
Like, everybody has a new house, everybody has a new car. and it's like fucking beautiful to see because we were all around. We're like, shit wasn't popping. Nobody had any fucking money in their pocket, and everything was super like unsure. Nobody knew what things would lead to.
Yeah, you basically bond over the struggle. And so you have this idea for Rosecrans Avenue. What's like the first step you take, and what are some of the like early struggles that you experienced in the like early stages of?
First steps I took was like, okay, I think I had maybe like a checklist or something I wrote down, and I was like, okay, I need a web designer, I need a logo, I need to teach myself how to write, I need to find I discovered WordPress, but I knew I needed something like that to like host my website and my blog
platform.
Exactly. So did like some research and stuff. The first struggle, I guess the early struggle was I was on Twitter, I think, and I just like put out like a question or something like, hey, anybody know any graphic designers or somebody, no, not graphic, anybody know how to make a website? Web designer. Somebody DM me, random person, and was just like, hey, like I can build your website for like $400 or something, or I forgot, maybe it was like 600. And I was just like, damn, all right, fuck it, like you'll do it all, like, he's like, yeah, I got you. So I sent him the money, and then never heard from him again.
You didn't see like no portfolio or some
yeah
shit.
I don't know, I mean, it was early, you feel me? Like I think I maybe asked him like, have you done some before? But I don't know, I was so new to everything. And I took that fat L, like $600.
Yeah, that's hard.
And yeah, I was so fucking mad, but I had a choice to make. I'm like, okay, am I gonna let this stop me? Like right off the bat, I'm gonna just say one day like, oh, I was gonna start a website, but this guy scammed me, so I stopped.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck that guy. I'm going to do it anyway. You know what I mean? I mean, back then, $600 like was a lot of money for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, fuck it. I'll save it up again. I'll figure it out. So I actually hit up one of the homies from high school. It was always like a kind of nerdy kind of dude. He was cool. And I hit him up, and I was just like, yo, like you do graphic design. I saw he would like post on like Twitter and Instagram and stuff that he did shit like that. And then I think he charged me like $300 or something, super cheap. Did my logo, and then I was like, oh, okay, cool. I think he designed my website.
Oh shit.
I can't remember. I think I did it.
You designed it?
I think so. I wasn't really very good at it, but no, actually I think he did. Yeah, he did. But I kind of edited it after like little things. Like I kind of like dug into like my MySpace coding bag and was just like, okay, let me see, like move this shit, like space parentheses BR, like
yo, MySpace was like actually training you
for sure. Yeah, it was training everybody.
MySpace was training people for coding and shit, like
bro,
at 12 years old.
Oh God, everybody was coding to get the fucking falling letters from the sky and
yo,
shit.
100%.
So he did that, and then the struggle was just like I had a meeting with about 5 people. And I was just like, hey, like, I think you guys are all dope. I wanted to see if you guys would be willing to, start this website with me. Like, certain people can do different things. Like, I'm like, one person can be like a graphic designer. One person can be like a writer. One person can do this. Or one person can do that. And so the people I met with, they were like, yeah, I'm down. 2 of them actually were serious and helped. Other people, I can't even remember who they were or where they went after that. But the homie Charles, shout out my boy Charles Salway, he was down. Like he was just like, fuck it, yeah, I'm down. And he helped me with like all the graphic design. I didn't know how to do any graphic design. Still don't know how to do that shit to this day. And he just helped me with everything like I needed. Like everything I didn't know how to do, like he knew how to do. He even wrote sometimes and like would go on like these rants and shit like that, and I would publish it because it was funny because he was like an angry dude.
Just right.
Yeah, it was super cool. Like we just tried different shit, It was dope because I felt like it was kind of a blessing that like nobody was watching.
Because you could mess up.
You could mess up.
Yeah.
Now it's like eyes are on me. So the blessing was like I was learning how to write, and nobody was watching, and I was just building all this shit, just having fun on like my free time. I was serious about it, but it was still fun, and I was really disciplined back then, probably more so than now because I had a job, I had a newborn, I had a girl, and a house to maintain. and I did that shit on the side. And I was going to school still. I was still taking like online classes. So everything had to be very like with its time. And I would like, you know, sit down all day on like Sunday and like just prepare and just write a bunch of shit. And like, you know, I was very disciplined. Like I would get on my lunch and just be like, oh, I have to put 3 articles up, you know? And
yeah, I feel that.
I was super like militant about it. And nobody could tell me anything. And like my girl would get mad, like, all you do is on that fucking computer. And I'm just like, yeah, because like I'm super serious about this, you know? It was, I was actually talking to my mom about this other day that what Rosecrans did for me was like, it taught me the art of completion. Before that, I had never started something and finished it.
Oh, really?
It was always like, I'll start something and never really see it through. And once I finally had a vision and started and then saw it all the way through, you know, once like the website launched and everything and the Instagram was doing, and I was just like stayed consistent with it, I'm like, well, I could do fucking anything now, you know? Now it doesn't seem like as big a task because I did something once that started out as an idea and made it a real thing.
Because at that point, it's just like you accomplish that one goal, and it's just like opens up so many doors, and you're like, all right, fuck it, what's next? Like,
what's next?
Yeah, what can I do next? So at this point, when you launch RosecransAve, what's the next step? Like, do you start finding a team or?
Yeah, I had a small team of writers. I had the homie Jamie Lopez. Charles would write, and he was like on the team. And who else? I think it was mostly just us 3 for a while. And it was cool, you know, like Jamie was posting a lot of shit. I was posting a whole bunch of shit, and then Charles would help with like the graphic design and like the Instagram and all this stuff. Super helpful, man. Shout out Charles. Without Charles, we would not have a RosecransAve, because just having that support and like somebody else that believed in you, you know, super early on, it means so much.
Yeah.
You know? And so we did that, and I had like a little team, and then eventually I met Irene, and Giggles Irene, and she was a part of the team for a long time. And I met Callie in like 2017, I want to say maybe 2016.
Is he's kind of your business partner?
Yeah,
now,
he's
right?
my business partner in like hella shit, like just, you know.
Yeah.
He's my co-conspirator.
Yeah. What do you mean by that? Elaborate on that.
I just feel that way because like we just sit back and like plan shit and like laugh about shit, and it's one of those deals where, you know, whatever I do eventually is like good for him. Whatever he does eventually good for me, you know.
Got you.
I have that kind of partnership with a few people. I would say Cypress is like that too. Like we have a few like brand partnerships together. Like he's a partner in Don't Come to LA with me. But also it's just like, you know, he drops music and I'm just like, damn, it feels damn near like I won.
Yeah.
You know, like he does like something dope. He was on Billboard. I'm just like, hell yeah, that's fire. You know, like shout out my guy Chris. He's like he manages me on like the talent side, you know, helps me get like brand partnerships and stuff. Same thing with him. Whenever he gets wins, it's like, yes, like, so just started building like a network and a team. And like early on, it was, you know, hard to find people to want to do shit for you. Obviously nobody really believes or cares. But after that, you know, once I started like having Irene, like she helped so much with everything. We started bringing on like more writers and stuff like that. And just building everything out, you know, just kind of slowly. I didn't trust a lot of people, but
man, that's my biggest thing right now, because you have a vision for something. Like I have a vision for this, and it's like I'm scared to let somebody come in on this and like try to take reins and make it what they want. You know what I mean? So I'm very similar to how you felt at that time.
The art of delegation, it's like you got to learn that. I'm still learning it myself. Like I was thinking about getting like an assistant, and it gave me a lot of anxiety. Like I'm like, I don't even know what to like. I feel like I need help, but I don't know what anybody else can help me with. Yeah, exactly.
Because it's like your baby. You wanna have everything to do with it, bro. And that's like I'm learning that right now, though. I'm learning I gotta let responsibilities go, and in order to help this shit build.
I think the easiest thing to do to delegate is like to delegate the shit you like to do the least. Start there, you know?
Yeah, kind of like grunt work and shit.
Yeah, just like the shit you don't really enjoy doing that much, you know, like for example, like setting up the whole shit, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Just get somebody and like to intern and be like, your job is just to do this.
Bro, that's the thing too. People have asked. People have been like, yo, like whatever I can do, like I'm down to help you out. I want to be on part of this. And I'm just like, yeah, like what can I help you? Who can I have you do? Like honestly. But then I've had people help and I notice I'm like, fuck, I'm over here telling them like, no, not like that, like this. Yeah. I'm like, yo, I gotta chill.
It's like, it's a learning curve for sure with everything. You know, it's like it's funny because, you know, everybody wants to like kind of, especially in this space, because we're all like kind of self-employed, self-contractors or independent contractors, whatever you want to say, like entrepreneurs. Everybody wants to be like, oh, I'm a boss. But and then like you start having these different problems that come with being a boss. And it's like learning how to be a boss, delegating shit, you know, paying people.
It's a skill.
Yeah, you got to pay people. You got to learn how to manage people. You know, you got to direct people. All these things, all these intangibles that like, I'm sure they're in a book somewhere, but like school doesn't teach you that shit. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly. And
just kind of from the real life experience and just, you know, seeing your way of managing, like you said, like you're over here like being aggressive, maybe like, and then you're like, nah, maybe I don't want to be like that. And with me, sometimes I'm like, I think I let people get away with a little too much, you know?
Okay.
So it's just finding that balance and like knowing what kind of, you know, I guess boss you want to be. You know,
so
it's definitely a skill.
So the business partners that you have now on your team, like talk about the importance of having good business partners and having a good team that you can work with, because I'm sure that's like important for you too, right?
Yeah, that's everything. Like the team is really, they help like motivate you because you know that you have people believing in you and your success. And also just having, you know, people around that, you know, can win also. Like it's motivating, you know, you're just like, damn, that's dope. Like, my guy Jeff Weiss, you know, he's like my mentor and business partner in Don't Come to LA. And, you know, just seeing him and like what he does and just taking cues from that is like super dope. And just like I said, just having a team that is like we all have different goals personally, but we have like the same kind of direction in a way of like, we know we're not about no goofy shit. We're all about respect.
The principles.
We're in this for the long run. We're not looking to. None of us do this necessarily like strictly for the money. You know, obviously it's nice and you want to be able to like feed your family and stuff like that off of it, which pretty much all of us have been able to do now. But you know, it's like knowing that you have the same type of, I don't know, like people, same type of people that are just like solid, you know, that these are the people I want to surround myself with. Because like you said, people try to hit you up and be like, yo, bro, like, let me intern that. And for me, it's like, one, I don't trust anybody. And two, it's just like, I'm very protective of like who has access to me and like my energy. And, you know, I don't want no drama around. I don't want no like weird shit where people start talking behind your back and, you know, telling secrets about this or that.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's just like, I'm a pretty private person. So, you know, all the people around me understand me. I understand them, you know, and it's dope. We built like a really dope, solid network where like I see everybody very often. You know, they go to like my sister's store, or, you know, I'll run into them like at the studio, and like everybody just has, you know, relationships with each other. And it's like, it's been really dope to build, you know, it's like a whole big like community that we have, and we all fuck with each other. We all, you know, we don't do no weird grimy shit, and we just build. We're just, you know, bouncing off each other.
That's a blessing, man. I hope to get to that point one day. You know what I mean? Because obviously things can go wrong, like especially in the music industry. So like it's dope to have the stars align like that for you, and to know that that's possible. You know? Because I've heard too many stories of like of bad fallouts. You know what I mean? With people starting up things like your platform is, or things like mine is. So yeah, I wish you the best of luck with that. Yeah,
thanks. Yeah, just keep the goofies out your circle, basically. You know, it's like the best way. And like, even if you have to do shit yourself, but like as long as you know like no weird shit is going on, you know, it's like that is such a blessing in itself. Yeah. Not having to worry about the people around you looking for, you know, whatever, like having ulterior motives or whatever.
Yeah. That's a good word for ulterior motives. So with that being said, is Rosecrans Avenue like what you pictured it at first, what you wanted it to be, what your vision was, do you have that same vision for it, or has that changed since when you first started?
Man, I never really thought about that, but I feel like I'm doing exactly what I wanted to do. And the way, even like down to the T, because the way like people mention us with like a fake short drive now and are saying like,
Okay.
like people have said
You're
it.
in that circle now. Like,
Yeah, I met Andrew Barber to his face, and I told him like, bro, like fake short drive is the reason why I started Rosecrans. And he's just like, damn, that's super dope. And then unrelated, like, I think maybe I was talking to him, and then maybe we like got introduced to somebody else, and then he's like, oh yeah, this is Vic, like he runs RosecransAve. It's kind of like a fake short drive for LA. Those words to me were like huge, bro. Like, yeah, the fact that he saw it, you know what I mean? It was like huge to me, and that was really the goal. And I feel like even now with like the Mad Lately show and like the No Jumper thing, like the best way to kind of describe me, in a way is like, oh, Rosecrans is kind of like the new fake short drive before LA, and that's really what my vision was. And to build a community, that I'm talking about, that like everybody for the most part is cool, everybody has a common platform that they can go to see who's popping, what's what, when we did our like Don't Come to LA lineups, they're like, oh shit, okay, I guess these guys are next, I guess, and like it started to become a thing, and holding that weight and that value. And where people, labels hit me and like, yo, like we need to tap in with the LA market, like, who's dope out here, like stuff like that. That's exactly what I want to be. I want to be like a representative for LA culture to the industry, and have this like platform that everybody can just kind of huddle up over, you know what I mean? Like a campfire, and like, oh shit, okay, what's going on over there? Yeah, okay, cool.
That's dope, because if you think about it, I mean, you've been in this, you put a lot of years in, but you're still so young in your career. Like you're so like so much longer to go for you. So like that's got to be exciting for you, right?
For sure. Yeah, I say that all the time, like with the homies. When I think I was just talking to Savi Third, he just called me yesterday, and we're just chopping it up. I think I first interviewed him in 2018 or so, and like booked him for a show and stuff. And we gained like a cool relationship. Like he called me from jail, like when he was locked up and stuff like that, and like try to help him however I could. We had a we have a cool relationship. We hadn't spoken in a minute, and then he was just like, yo, bro, like congrats on all your success, bro. Like I see it, like. He's like, I remember we went up to Dash and we're doing, the radio show over there, and look at you now, y'all No Jumper, blah, blah. And I was just like, yeah, bro, like same to you, I see you like doing your thing and blah, blah. And then I was just like, I was like, the dope part is this is only the beginning, like I said, it's like the fact that like everybody's just like now moving out to like their own crib, getting a new car. This is like the very beginning of that, it's like, there's only going to be more success to come after, and it's always a snowball thing, so it's just going to come downhill faster now.
And there's no rules to this shit. Like you could be in the game till like you're 50, 60, like whatever it is.
Coaches are around longer than players, for sure.
And there's no this isn't a player game. This is like this is you kind of doing your thing. You're responsible for the own moves you make.
Exactly.
So that's dope. You touched on it earlier. I want to go back to it. So Mad Lately with No Jumper, how did that opportunity come about? I know that you mentioned you met Adam back in 2017. So how did the show come about?
So I met Adam like I said, like probably 2017. Interviewed him, and then we kept running into each other at Shoreline shows, right? Because I started booking Shoreline early. That was like a big part of my career. Posted about them first, blogged about them, whatever. Had them on my radio show first. Like I was their first introduction to like media, and like and platforms and shit. So the fact that they blew up, first of all so fast, and the fact that I was covering them and had access to them. I knew their manager, TK, shout out my boy TK. I knew him before he even signed them. So we were already working together. They were working with 03 Greedo, and we booked him for a show, and like we played his music on our radio show. on when I was doing the show with Cypress, Rosecrans Radio. And so just around that time, like I started to kind of gain some like notoriety and started, things really, it became like a real scene, like I had done shows before, but that's when things started to really take off. So I was there for every step of it. I was there. I watched them sell out, 100-person venues. I watched them sell out 300-person venues, 400, 100, 1,000, 5,000. So that relationship with them, and being around them all the time, Adam started coming around them too. Right. He interviewed them after me, and then he like started doing content with them, started doing like pop-ups at the store with them. They became, just a big, huge thing, and everybody was around. And so I just kept running into him. Oh, what's up, Adam? Blah, blah. Started to familiarize myself with him. He started to notice that, like, oh, this kid's everywhere. Everywhere I go, he's there. As far as like LA shit.
So he's in his mind like, this kid's got a lock on the scene then. Yeah,
I'm not sure if he noticed it then, but the consistency, I ran into him in so many places just working and minding my business. It wasn't like, yo, like I belong there. You feel me?
Yeah,
like
not some fanboy shit. Like.
Exactly. And I never was, because I respected him, and I hope to one day maybe work with him or do something. I just kind of always wanted to like keep that open. He's a huge platform, and he's a really dope dude. Like he's always showed love since the beginning. He didn't have to come on my podcast like 2017. He was already like a fucking huge star at that point.
Facts. So
just from seeing him, like I ran into him in Miami at Rolling Loud. Like I was doing the same shit he was doing. I was interviewing artists. I ran into him in like New York, Rolling Loud, like just a whole bunch of shit, on the scene. So I think after seeing that and seeing me work and the consistency, he was like, oh, he's like here to stay, and he's cool. And we always had a cool relationship. I would pitch him videos all the time to like post on the channel. He'd post them. I'd pitch him artists to like interview. He'd interview them.
So you're providing value before you guys even really started working together.
Exactly. And just kept that kind of connection, because I knew that getting artists on his platform was a win for LA. You know what I mean? The more artists we had on bigger platforms, eventually it would trickle down, and things would just be better in general, So I always kept that in mind, and I would only send him like dope shit. I never wasted my time and was like, oh, let me send him this trash video. Hopefully he like puts it on, I was very
calculated
particular
with the moves.
Exactly. I only pitched him like maybe a handful of artists, and he didn't always say yes to every one of them, but I knew he would like read my emails and look it over and shit. So just growing that kind of respect and like showing him that, I'm working, and minding my business. I'm not, like you said, I'm not on no fanboy shit. I never have been like the type to just hang around and not do shit.
Yeah.
So very beginning of this year, he hit me up and was like, yo, like I wanted to, see if you were down to like do some content with No Jumper and, want to meet about it and stuff like that. Right. So I'm like, okay, cool. Like, so I met him at his office, and we had a meeting, and we're just talking about what can we do. We're kind of thinking maybe more so like vlogs, and me going around to like different places with like a No Jumper camera and just kind of being like a host like that. And then I think Corona happened like right after. Like,
oh, so this was pre-Corona where you guys had that meeting?
This was like maybe January or February.
Oh shit.
So that happened. He was also talking about he was moving out of the store, and he was going to get a new place in like North Hollywood, like a big compound and stuff like that. I guess that fell through also. So he was like, oh, until I get like a bigger spot, we're going to put that on hold, and then the Corona happened and all that. So it was just kind of like a pause on that. And like I told you before, I stopped my podcast. I was doing Rosecrans Radio. We had a podcast deal with the podcast network, and it was like for 6 months, and then at the end of the 6 months, I didn't want to renew it because the guy was like, he was talking about, oh, we're gonna get you guys ads and this and that. None of it ever happened. No promotion. Like we were just doing shit ourselves. Like it was cool. We had access to the Entercom building, you know, so we got to record, you know, at the like, you know, where Amp Radio and like K Rock and all them like are at. We got to like use their equipment and their mics and stuff for free. That was cool, but the setup was like, it was radio, right? So like we recorded videos and like they were super shitty because there was terrible lighting and just the angles of everything. Like it's not meant for video, you know?
Yeah.
So I was just like, you know what, I'm over it. I spent a lot of time doing it and I was just kind of burnt out. I had interviewed so many artists too, and I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna take some time off of interviewing artists and this, and I'm gonna just do some shit behind the scenes. So I stopped the podcast in like very end of December. And so Adam hit me up like, was it like maybe like, this all just happened very recently. He hit me up like maybe 3 weeks ago.
Oh shit.
Yeah, maybe even 2. I don't know. This shit happened fast. But point is, he hit me up and he's like, hey, are you still doing your podcast? And I was like, nah, I'm just waiting for the right time to bring it back. You know, I'm focusing on other stuff. And then so he was like, well, you know, like he's like we talked about before, like I want to see if you were down to, you know, host your own podcast on the No Jumper network and see, you know, if you can like build a show and like an audience. And, you know, he's like, every day of the week I want like a show on the network, basically. Yeah. You know, he's like, we do Tuesdays, the No Jumper show. He's like, AD's gonna have a show and I want you guys to have your own show. Or he's like, you could do your own show, you could pick your co-host, you could do whatever.
Oh, so you had like ultimate freedom almost.
Exactly. And I was just like, damn, that's hard, you know. I'm like, hell yeah. You know, so I was like, okay, let me work on it. And I remember I was super fucking busy that week. And I was like, let me work on this for a few days and then I'll get back to you at the end of the week and I'll give you like an outline of like what the show will be, my co-host, and just present it all like that, you know. And then he was like, all right, cool. So then I started thinking, I was just like, okay, like who do I want on my show? What kind of show do I want it to be? You know, what's the name of the show going to be and all this stuff. So I was like, okay, I'm a really big fan of Gina Views. Like since I started, I looked up to her, you know, and I was just like, damn, like she's so dope. Her platform is very LA. She does her own shit. She did like ciphers and she did like really dope YouTube content. She's like a star to me, you know, like, and to a lot of other people. I've been getting a lot of good feedback from like, oh my God, Gina's awesome. And so I was like, okay, I want her as my co-host. Like I need her as my co-host. And then I was just like, okay, just us two. I'm like, that could work. But then I'm like, my boy Gabe, Good Morning Gabe, who was at Power and he's LA Leakers, Shade 45. We were in talks about doing something on Twitch. So we were like, yeah, let's do like a Twitch show. We did like a trial run a few weeks ago where I was like co-hosting and it was fun. It was cool. Twitch is like a super weird new platform, you know, and it's like lots of freedom, you know, like, and just learning something new is like pretty exciting. So I was just like, well, this isn't with Twitch, but I'm like, we were talking about doing something together for a while already. I don't want to leave him high and dry. And also, I just think he's super fucking dope and well respected as well. And I feel like I already wanted to work with him basically. So I was just like, okay, if I put them together and me, I think this will be like a fucking incredible show. Like just 3 all-stars, you know, is what I seen it as, you know?
Yeah.
And
dream team.
Exactly. And I was like, dude, this will be so fucking dope. So I hit up Gina first and then she was like, oh, AD already asked me to do his show. And I was like, fuck, like what are the chances?
On the No Jumper show?
Exactly, yeah.
Network? Oh shit.
I was like, what the fuck? And then I was just like, damn, I almost didn't reply to her text. I was just like, damn, I was disappointed. Cause now I'm like, man, like she's gonna be on both shows. And then I was just like, man, like to myself, I'm just like, just get over it. Like, who cares? You know, like she'll be on both shows. Fuck it. Like, doesn't matter. Like, it'll be a different show.
Yeah.
You know, and good for her, basically. I was just like, okay. So I was like, and the thing is too, like, I have a good relationship with AD. I'm really cool with him. He was on our album and everything. So I was like, okay, talk to AD and see if it's okay if you do both. I don't want him to like think I'm trying to steal his co-host or like stepping on his toes or whatever. So she's like, yeah, he said it's fine, blah, blah. So I'm like, okay, fuck it. You know, like, and then I hit up Gabe separately and I was just like, yo, like, you know, I got this opportunity for No Jumper. Like, what do you think? He's like, hell yeah, bro, I'm down. So I didn't even really tell them that it would be us 3. And then I was just like, I kind of like put the whole like show idea together, and then I was just like, I just kind of presented it to him like that. I'm like, look, it'll be us three. We'll be doing this, we'll be doing that. And I'm like, add any of your like your suggestions like on this Google Doc, and you know, let's come up with some segments. And I was like, I think I was already so, and then where the name Mad Lately came from is I was already doing like a spin-off brand of Rosecrans where we curate a playlist and we drop a digital cover every month. I think we skipped a month, but yeah, like pretty much every month. And it sounds funny, and like the homie Ramp, who I do the playlist and the cover with, he's the one who lives next door.
Oh shit, okay.
But the funny shit is like he makes fun of me for this because we were trying to come up with the name for it. Like we started this in like March or something, and he was like, "What's the name for it gonna be?" And I couldn't come up with the name. I was like, "Fuck." And it came to me in a dream, like, which is hilarious. Yeah.
You know, I don't even remember my dreams,
bro. That shit came to me in a dream. And like, it was like the weirdest thing. Like, it was just like, Mad Lately, like, blah, blah. So I woke up and I was like, oh, fuck. What was that name? Like, I'm trying to sit there and remember, like, what was it? It was like something lately. I was like, Mad Lately. Oh, yeah, it was Mad Lately. And then I'm like, oh, the L and the A, like, it'll like, you know, capitalize it. And then I was just like, damn, that's a fire name. And I told him. And he's like, bro, what the fuck? That's like a hard ass name. He's like, where'd you come up with that? I'm like, bro, it came to me in a dream. And then he just started laughing his ass off. He's like, you're a psychopath. He literally told me, he's like, you're a psychopath. Like, who thinks of shit like that in their dream? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, it just fucking came to me.
Yeah. Wait, so what does Mad Lately mean though? Like, what is that?
So Mad Lately is basically we're keeping you up to date. We're keeping you mad lately.
Right? Got you.
So like current, you know, it's kind of just another way to say like, you know, up to date in a way.
A little wordplay.
Mad lately. Also, I just love, like you said, I love wordplay and just the things you can do. I love how the words look together.
Yeah.
You know, very like in your face, like Mad Lately. You know, it's kind of like, I think it's a fire name.
It
is.
Know?
So came up with that, and we were doing the digital cover and the playlist for about, we already had done like 3 editions of them. And then I'm like, okay, I could tie this brand in with this, grow it. And also it just made sense because it's like, as you know, like building a brand, like it's hard to build. Like I would have had to build like a whole new, like whatever that other radio show name would be. I would have to do that, make a social media for it, make a logo for that. I'm like, I already had everything with this.
Yeah, and you had the concept down too.
Yeah, and I just had I had everything built for it pretty much already, because I already had the logo and like all the Instagram was already made, and we already had digital covers, so there's like a history there. And basically just bringing that and taking it to, you know, the No Jumper platform. And I feel like it fit perfectly with like the name, like No Jumper, Mad Lately. It's like, you know, it's like kind of that same theme, and I figured like the fans would probably fuck with it. And a lot of them don't, but they know the name. Like it's a memorable name. Like we've been getting like hate mail all week or whatever.
Really?
Like, yeah, we've been getting like they've been roasting us in the comments.
Really?
Like, this show fucking sucks. Like,
what?
I mean, this is No Jumper trolls. Like, you know, I expected it.
Yeah,
that's
true.
Bring back Selena Powell, like all this shit. Like I expected all of that, so it doesn't faze me at all. It's just hella funny. But I felt like the No Jumper audience would like take to that name. Like I didn't want no like weird corny name. Like it's in your face. Like I said, it's like I didn't want no like I don't know, just like a weird name. So I was just like, nah.
And plus branding wise too, it's like it has the LA in it. Like you're automatically
exactly
symboling those two together.
Exactly.
So what is the show about? Like what do you guys, what kind of segments do you guys have? What's the theme of it?
So it's the same concept of like the digital magazine in a way, because we're just keeping you current. You know, we're keeping you up to date with things in LA. We're like from an LA point of view, basically. You know? Right. So we cover like our first segment is like, you know, kind of breaking the ice, and it's like, what has you mad lately? We ask each other, you know, as you know, the co-hosts, we just like are like, what has you mad lately? Then we'll spin off into like a little story. You know, you get to know us, like, you know, I'm so fucking mad because nobody wants to help me move. That was like my thing last week. because I feel like everybody can relate to that. Everybody has something that they're like a little bit upset about.
That's dope.
You know?
Yeah.
So then we go into like the lately segment to where we start, you know, commenting on the news, you know, and giving our perspective. And it's all from like an LA point of view, you know?
Yeah. That's perfect then. It ties like each one of those words together.
You know, so we do that, and then it's just like the first show was hilarious because we low-key went viral because we addressed the elephant in the room, and we were saying that we were replacing Thoughts Next Door, which was Selena Powell's podcast.
Yeah.
Because we came on at the same time and the same day. Like, you know, we really weren't replacing her, but we're jumping in that slot. And I knew people would be like, bring back Thoughts Next Door, like, blah, blah. So we just addressed it, like, quickly in the beginning. And, you know, we said, if you were tuned into if you were trying to tune into Thoughts Next Door, I'm sorry. This is Mad Lately. I'm Rosecrans Vic, blah, blah, blah. And so, you know, we said that. Gina was like, and I'm the original Thought. You know, we were just playing around. Like, that shit was hilarious. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we were just playing around with it. Somebody sent that to Selena Powell, and she went on like a rant on Twitter. She DM'd Gina and was like talking all this shit.
Oh, fuck.
And it was the perfect promo because like we're like posting the screenshots and be like, mad lately. We have Selena Powell mad lately. Like, what has you mad lately?
That. Yeah.
And it just was like perfect, you know? And I knew, like, you know, from after doing this media shit for like a while, you start to like know what things are going to get a reaction, you know? So I knew that she would react to that. I knew that I didn't know she was going to like come at Gina all crazy and like DM her and shit, but you know, it was funny and I expected it. So it was like kind of like oh yeah, perfect. Like, that's great promo, you know, like, because it's harmless. Like, she's not going to do anything. She was talking about, I'm going to pull up, and it's not like, you're not going to do that, you know? It was dope, you know, because it's like now Selena's audience knows who we are.
That's true.
It's all marketing.
That's great marketing for you guys.
Exactly. Mad lately.
And that's dope because it all happens so organically for you. Like, you and Adam relationship, this opportunity coming up, like the Mad Lately name. Like, and I feel like that's important because for me, at least, when I try to force shit, like, and it doesn't happen, I'm just like, you know what? Let me be cool off this for a little bit. And then next thing you know, like, something comes up when you least expect it. And that happens in so many different like avenues of life.
Definitely.
You know, so that's dope that you guys got that opportunity.
Yeah.
So when does the show air? Like, on a weekly basis?
Mondays at 6 p.m. We go on live.
You go on live?
Yeah. So we're live on No Jumpers YouTube platform every Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific.
Okay. And what can we expect for like future shows?
We're not going to be interviewing artists, at least for a while.
So it's just going to be you three?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're actually, we have Adam coming on the podcast on Monday.
Okay.
With us. So he's gonna come on the podcast on Monday. But after that, like, we kind of talk to each other, and we're just like, we don't want any guests. We don't want it to turn into like just a interview show and be guest reliant. That's like, I feel like the worst thing you can do, because the minute the guest doesn't show up, you're not prepared. You know, now you don't have the content that you wanted or whatever. What we are planning to do is like have our segment, like, you know, pretty much our whole show, and then bring on a guest, you know, in like maybe like 15 or 20 minutes before the show is over, and then kind of have like interview them, but like lightheartedly, and then just have them ask them what has them mad lately, you know, ask them what they've been doing lately, like go into that and kind of bring them into our world. You know, we don't want to just have like a bland interview. We want to have them like comment on certain shit that we're talking about. Like, be part
of the conversation that you guys normally talk about, right?
Exactly. And I feel like that'll make us stand out, because I've done, you know, shows that were just guest reliant, like Rosecrans Radio, you know, for a long time was just, what guests do we have? You know, tune into this episode, this and that. I just got tired of it. I'm just like, I don't want to like. And there's only so many artists and people you can interview and stuff like that. I really love what Joe Budden did with, he just got his homies in a room and just chopped
Rory
it up.
Mal,
and they're like the fucking hugest podcast ever. Like, that's hard, you know?
Yeah, that is true.
I like that. So, because of that, I'm just like, I want to build something like that, you know?
Yeah.
But from an LA point of view, you know, and talk about our people and have our inside jokes and stuff like that.
That's true, man, because you guys got that like LA kind of bias. You know what I mean? The
Exactly.
West Coast bias.
Unapologetically, you know, it's like we're from LA, we love LA, we are West Coast. Like a lot of the people in the comments were like, they're talking about a bunch of LA artists that we don't know about. Like, yeah,
that's the point.
That's the point. Like you guys, we want you guys to know about them.
Take notes.
We want you guys to know about them. You know,
Yeah.
we're talking about Ruchi's boat party and like how, you know, only 1 out of 3 of us got invited and like shit like that. And people are probably like, what the fuck are they talking about? But eventually, you know, we'll have Ruchi on the podcast and then we'll like, they'll get it. You know what I mean? We're building like a little like universe to where people are going to understand in due time. You know, we just started. We literally just aired 1 show. So it's going to take some time, but you know, Adam is behind us and, you know, he said he wants to give us the opportunity to grow. You know, he's not tripping about, you know, the numbers and trying to replace the Selena Powell Thoughts Next Door kind of viralness. You know what I mean? Like they did like fucking stupid, crazy numbers. Like, and they have a much bigger platform. You know, we're all like, you know, we have a pretty big platform in LA, but to the rest of the world, you know, we're not that known.
Yeah.
And I understand that. So everything's just gonna, you know, take care of itself and snowball. I'm sure. It's
so dope because No Jumper has such a big platform that like people from the East Coast can get like a true ear on what's going on in LA.
Exactly.
That's perfect.
Exactly.
Dope. Well, we're gonna end this episode pretty soon. Do you have anything you want to plug or like where can people find you on social?
Yeah. Follow me at Rosecrans Vic. No spaces or nothing, just like that. Rosecrans Vic. Tune into the blog, RosecransAve.com. See what is going on in LA, the dope new artists. We don't only cover LA artists. Also, it's more so of like if I find something dope in there from wherever, like you know, I'm gonna post it. Like one of the artists that I started covering first is the homie Craigie F, who now I co-manage. He's from Connecticut. You know, and it was just like that shit was just hard to me. Like, you know, I didn't give a fuck. Like, it's my platform. Like, I make the rules. You know, it's like I cover a majority of LA artists, but there are going to be some other artists from, you know, the Bay, from the South, from the East Coast that I personally fuck with, and I'm just like, I have a platform, so I'm gonna put them on here.
That's crazy, man. How the fuck you connecting with a Connecticut artist?
Man,
that's wild.
2014, he was like one of my first interviews. Like,
oh, really?
I think I found him on SoundCloud, and I was just like, yo, you're dope, you know? And we just, like, grew a relationship. Like, now, like, he's one of my best friends. His manager, Ramp, who I co-manage him with, one of my best friends. Like, we did the playlist together, you know, like, we're always working, talking, and all this shit. So it's, like, it's dope, you know? It's solid people, you know? It's, like, you know solid people when you meet them and you just kind of build and shit like that. So,
man, it sounds like so much shit is happening for you right now. Like a lot of different things.
It's been a crazy last few weeks, and it's shout out to God, man.
Shout out to God,
bro. God, yeah. It was crazy because like I had like a pretty bad like 2 months. Like I would say like July and August. Was it July, August?
Like prior to these past
June.
weeks.
It was like June and June and July. I would say August was dope, but yeah, June and July I was down bad, like just personally, like, and then I caught COVID and it was just like weird time for me, you know. But during that time, I was like, nah, like, you know, like the cliche, like, you know, the bounce back, you know, is gonna be immaculate, like, you know. I was just like, I was like, I'm gonna come back, like. I'm down now, but like I'm gonna come back. You feel me?
Yeah.
And I came back and just started working my ass off. You know, just every day doing something new, doing something productive, and you know, all that is like snowballed into everything that's happening now. Like me moving out, getting the new crib, like the No Jumper show, like all this shit happened because I just started really, really focusing and working harder than I've worked probably in my whole life, you know.
Yeah, and that's what's up.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see what's in store for you, especially in the near future and your journey from here on out, because I can already tell from this conversation that like you're in this shit for longevity. You know what I mean?
I play forever.
Yeah. That's what's up. I respect it. So Rosecrans Vic, man, we appreciate you coming on.
Mad Lately Mondays at 6 on No Jumper, 6 p.m. Pacific. Mad Lately Mondays at 6 p.m. Follow me at Rosecrans Vic. Appreciate you, bro.
Yes, sir.
This is dope.
Hell yeah, that's a wrap. Levi from Ambiance, Rosecrans Vic. Peace.
We out.